Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I have a very special episode today. We're going to talk about the secret power of group coherence. I have with me some of my very favorite people in the world, Kyle Boyd and Leah Rush.
Yeah.
Kyle and Leah have specialized in heart coherence. They have an amazing channel at the Heart Coherence Collaborative. They've interviewed some incredible people. I'm sure you've heard of them. And we are planning some events here in the future, and we've had some incredible revelations about group coherence and its particular effect in manifesting and ascension and so many different things. And so I wanted to bring them on and really talk about this deeply, sharing our own personal experiences about group coherence. Welcome to the Reality Revolution, Kyle and Leah. How's it going?
Thank you for
Thank
having us. It's
us.
always amazing being here on the Reality Revolution.
Yes. And
It's
then before, I think, oh, we should have pressed record before because we end up saying all this fun and crazy stuff. So hopefully we can transfer it
Yeah,
and
we were just talking before this, and we're just like, it's crazy. We have such a history. You guys have helped my channel. I've helped yours. We've been around together. You guys sort of met each other through my meditations. I remember
yeah.
all the way back to the Quantum Healing Collective when I first met you. And what a lot of people don't know is that went out of your way to help me get guests to interview just because you're a nice person, and you've taught a lot with me. You've helped me host my virtual reality con events. Kyle is uniquely special, and Leah is uniquely special as well in teaching the power of the heart
Mm.
and moving into coherence. And there is a scientific basis to this. Kyle and Leah have become certified trainers in heart coherence.
Mm.
So since we last talked, I want you to share your journey of how that sort of expanded for you, your revelations in moving into the heart.
Oh, would you like to go first?
Ooh, well, first of all, as you were saying, we kind of met each other through you and through uh, this crazy series of events where somehow we became connected online. And I loved you for so
He
long.
reached out to me.
No, it's definitely a story that I think Kyle sent me like a random Facebook friend request that
Oh,
I guess I accepted. I have no memory of it,
okay,
but
it's
I
not good.
did. Okay. And and so I'm really not on Facebook that much, but this one day I go on Facebook and I see Kyle and you in this interview. And for me, I mean, you were an integral part of my life. Like Brian Scott is a famous person in my life who I've been doing meditations with for years. So I saw Kyle did an interview with you and I was like, oh my God, there's somebody in my like online world that knows Brian Scott. So I sent him a message and we ended up having a conversation. And the background story, if
Yeah.
you want to say, is that
Yeah, two weeks or a week prior to that, you had met the Quantum Healing Collective online and you
That's right.
guided us in the Infinity Palace, where you took us to
I do
different
remember.
rooms in this palace where we would imagine our dream home, our dream body, our dream partner. And in that Infinity Palace, you had us in a very high heart coherent state, and you had me imagine Leah. And so I saw Leah before I met her, and then she
Crazy.
messaged me after I was on your channel. And I was like, I just saw you in a meditation. And she's like, I just saw you on Brian's. It was so surreal. No
Wow.
doubt. And then we brought it together. And so to bring it back to your question, um, at that point in time, I was heavily studying heart coherence and not just how it affects me individually, but how it affects groups. And one of the things that I was really always fascinated by was I've heard you talk about it before, but constructive interference, how when two heart waves
Mhm.
come together, the size of the wave exponentially increases.
Yes.
So heart coherence has always been very powerful in my life when I do it alone. But whenever I do it with somebody else, it seems like this huge blanket of energy has always just overtaken me that's overwhelming. And whatever happens from that point forward in that day, it seems to be way more harmonious, magical, mystical. And
Mhm.
it's something that is hard to really explain to people. But my whole, goal is to get people to try to experience that. And
Yeah.
when they do, it's always the same thing. Like, what just happened to me? You know?
Yeah. So for people that don't understand, when you're in coherence, what does that mean? When you're in heart coherence, when they just hear those terms, and that's sort of just as a throwaway tag, but what does it scientifically mean?
Well, so yeah, it's very fascinating. When people say heart coherence, they're just immediately thinking about the heart, right?
Right.
But the heart actually gets the entire system coherent. So it's when your heart, mind, emotions, entire system comes into energetic alignment.
Hmm.
And that happens through, balancing the parasympathetic and sympathetic and accessing elevated emotions. So when we're experiencing elevated emotions, our body naturally starts to harmonize and become one orchestrated symphony. It's not just the heart, it's the heart leading the way, but it's sending
Yeah.
out the signal to harmonize your entire system.
You had shared with me you've had these ecstatic bliss-like experiences like I've had when you're truly in coherence that go beyond any drug that you could take. It's hard to explain in words, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes, and so there's a process that's been studied. It's
Hmm.
very scientific, and the main way to do it is to do a certain breathing technique. So you're focusing on your heart, and in general, you're breathing in a way that is more relaxed and slow. And in general, the instructions are to do even in breath and out breath. I'll say that, because we do so much with heart coherence and I've studied everything I
Hmm.
have done because you can measure this. Heart coherence is not just some hippy dippy thing where you're like, oh, go meditate on a hill and, you'll find enlightenment. You can, but it's a very scientific process. So there's a device, it's called the inner balance, and you can measure your coherence. And scientifically, I'll say it's the combination between heart rate variability,
Hmm.
which means that, to say it simply, your heart on the in breath and out breath naturally has some variation. And so you can measure that. You can measure your HRV. And then it's not just that there's this difference between essentially the quickness or the slowness of variation means the space between your heartbeats.
Oh,
It
okay.
also, besides there being variation, so on your in breath and your out breath, there's a difference between, it's quicker and slower. But also, when you look at it scientifically, and you don't even have to be a professional to understand this, you could
Mhm.
just look at a chart of somebody's heart when you use one of these devices, and without any training, you can see it either looks erratic, which is what happens when you're angry, when you're bitter, when you're annoyed, or it's this very beautiful wave where you can actually see it just looks beautiful. It looks
Yeah.
and and so when you're in this state, you can do the breathing technique. And there's so many ways to get in coherence.
Yeah.
And then you add in these renewing emotions like gratitude, bliss, ease,
Yeah.
and that is what makes you coherent.
What was interesting, I was doing it, I was putting people in coherence and I wasn't aware of why. And then
Yeah.
started accessing you and I realized what I had been doing. And so it sort of expanded what I was able to do in my meditations. I could create deeper, more powerful states in my meditations by integrating heart coherence techniques. And we've done a lot of meditations together, and that's been pretty powerful. But what is really amazing is when I started utilizing heart coherence in small groups where people I knew I would get together with 10 or 15 people and I would guide them in a quantum jump meditation, put them into heart coherence and then do a quantum jump. And I would see the most amazing results. And I would, when we are sharing a space, when we're in a physical space where I'm sharing a space with you, it seems like there is an exponential increase in my field and the effectiveness of my intentions, my visualizations, even my emotional state. Everything is maximized and magnified, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that study that Heart Math has talked about where There's four people in a room, and they get three people to do heart coherence, and
Right.
the fourth person is not doing heart coherence, but their heart rhythm entrains to the other rhythm,
Exactly.
the other three. And so, why is that happening? There's
Right.
obviously this field that's getting created that is penetrating everything in that room. And the power of the heart is so crazy. It actually penetrates even steel from what I've
Yeah.
heard, which is
Amazing.
fascinating. And so kind
Right.
of what you're talking about, it's really, I would say, the secret sauce. It's hard to explain to people, but anytime I ever have people come together and do heart coherence, like I said, the reaction is always the same. Like, what just happened to me? There's this powerful energy that harmonizes everyone in the group to an exponential degree where you're feeling mystical and
Yeah.
magical and strange things that are out of the ordinary begin to happen.
Yeah.
Everyone in the group is harmonized in sync. You're knowing what the other person's thinking. You're leaving, and you know somebody's texting you before they text you. Stuff like that. Your
Yeah.
intuition is through the roof.
That's what I really wanted to talk to you about. I mean, of course, we've talked many times, but this is a sort of new revelation that I
Yeah.
came to as you know well, I'm constantly in my laboratory here experimenting on transformation, trying to figure out ways that I can help people change their life. I've literally tried everything. You name the technique, I have done it. I've researched it. I've trained on it. I've talked about it. I've taught it, and not just once, like 7 or 8 videos. We've gone as deep as I possibly could,
That's
right?
so true about you.
That's
It
me. That's Brian Scott. I'm gonna cover it from every angle. I'm gonna read authors that have talked about it. I'm gonna interview people. But I sort of started coming up against a wall with my clients and myself. And
mm,
let's be honest. I'm being profoundly honest with the people out there. I got comfortable sitting in my office and creating non-local sort of group coherence where I would sit and do a group meditation with you, on Zoom like we are now.
mm,
And I could talk to my clients through a screen, and it became very easy and comfortable for me to create meditations and content and sit in this little office of mine,
Mhm.
right? And I realized when I had those group experiences that were so enlightening
yeah.
that I could literally feel it like I was outside of my body. I was something greater. And I've always been teaching about the new earth and the shift that we're going through. And I came to this revelation that the secret to the new earth shift is people gathering together in physical proximity and sharing meditational spaces with alignment, going into coherence together, and you sort of create a container. So it's like you're on your own little rocket ship. What I experienced was that everybody's higher selves start coming together, and everybody in those moments of you suddenly have access to infinitely more timelines within your conscious realm as you start imagining, because you're sharing it with everyone else. It's once you have access to their field, it's sort of it's like you move from one server like to the AI that has a million servers that it's working through, right? So I would do these quantum jumps when people were in heart coherence, and that's when I had the breakthrough, when I could see these incredible changes in the people that I was working with and myself. I realized that was the missing aspect of what I needed for my meditation. So we came together and we started, how can we get gatherings of people so that we can get together and we can be in physical proximity and utilize my techniques and your coherence techniques at the same time. So that's why we announced the retreat that we have coming up in September at the Golden Heart Estates. You just did a retreat
Yeah.
just recently. We're going to talk about it in a second. And then we have another event it's going to have over 200 people in Los Angeles at the LA Hilton. We have the link in the description for that. But the reason I'm mentioning this, and I know that people have been hearing me talk about it a lot, and there's a reason for that. I will scream this from the mountaintops because I believe that this is the secret for transformation. And I wanted you to share your experience. You just recently had a retreat at the Golden Heart Estates, the same place we're about to have one in September. So I'm so excited to see all those people that signed up. It sold out right away. Tell me
Mhm.
about your experience. What happened when you started getting people into coherence in a group?
Yes, it was, it was actually pretty amazing. This was our first retreat that we did.
Yeah.
And so, there was a lot of planning, but in the end, it became something that I don't even think that we could have predicted. Um, and in terms of thinking about our timeline, I remember when we started talking about our retreat, I told you I've been doing, because we had two facilitators besides us.
Hmm.
I remember sharing with you that I was doing this technique where basically I would get in a meeting with them, and we picked a song where it was really something that we could feel in our bones, and
Hmm.
we imagine ourselves the last day of the retreat and how people were really feeling. And I have to say, it exceeded even our wildest, and it wasn't just a visualization, it was an emotionalization. If
Right.
that makes sense. It was, I mean, these are people, most of our attendees, they had been to probably, it
Yeah.
might have been for between 5 and 10 retreats. These are retreat people, you
Right.
know what
Right.
I mean? And they, I think, as we were just blown away with the amount of, uh, we couldn't have even prepared for the transformation and just the feeling. And I'll always say, the most important thing to me is people. It's the connections between
It's the
people.
connections.
And what happened between this group in terms of coming together and feeling like a family.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were checking out, and it was our last group, I was saying that it was because, like, honestly, it's been a bit of a tough summer for me. There's just been
Yeah.
like different things going on. And that long weekend, I felt more like myself than I had for a really long time. And what
Hmm.
I shared with the group is that it really felt like family. And to me, the most important aspect of family is that it allows you to be yourself. And I think a lot of people really felt that way.
The Golden Heart Retreat. What a dream. I would have never anticipated it to be so magical. Sounds pretty cliche, but it was an experience, is an experience that I will carry forward. It was so whimsical, and that's not even a word that I typically use. There's so much power in simplicity, so much peace and joy and laughter. It really is the simple things in life, and the community, the connection, the depth, to be seen in one another's divinity is a gift, is such an understatement. And the land, such a beautiful experience and opportunity to be present with Source. I'm so honored to be a part of this community, and I look forward to what is to come of it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You had mentioned, Kyle, that when you saw everybody in coherence in the group, there was this additional sort of presence of feeling. Can you explain that?
Well, that's the thing that's interesting, is it's very hard to actually explain. I can explain what
Yeah.
I observe, and it's what I always observe. It's this very unique situation where anytime I have people come into the heart together, anytime we have people come into the heart together, they always leave fascinated by saying, "You picked the most amazing group of people. They felt like my family. I feel like I knew every single person there. Like
Yeah.
this is some divine orchestration of the perfect humans." And I just have
Yeah.
to laugh because I know that's the heart energy coming out in all of them. And so when we start to do heart coherence, we see ourselves in everybody. We become one organism. And there's a lot of actual science to this that, like, when we start doing heart coherence, our heart rhythms start to beat together and we become in
Yeah.
harmony. And it's almost just it's funny because everyone thinks it's like the people that were picked were just like, from heaven. It's really like heart, like this was some random event, like this was just some
Right.
random, how could you have organized all the perfect people? And what I know is every single group that does heart coherence together is going to leave feeling that way. They're going to leave
Yeah.
feeling like, whoa, this was my divine family. And then on top of that, what I also experience is, and what we heard people say after this last retreat is, one, they didn't know a level of love like that was possible. So that's what we heard so many
Hmm.
people say. It's like this energy just wells up, it takes over your system, and you're like, what is happening to me? And you get euphoric. It's like, whoa, I did not know that love like this existed. And then because you're now being like entrained by this exponentially strong love, you start to have things bubble to the surface that you might not have been ready for. You might have not even known, but you can't prevent it. There's no protection against it, but you also feel safe in how you're allowing these things to come
Yeah.
up. So we're seeing massive releases. People just, bawling their eyes out. People with some serious disorders, safely talking about things that happened and just releasing that and feeling like they're in the most perfectly safe place they've ever been in their life to do that.
What's exciting is that I had planned on doing the primal scream. We're going to do that in our September
Yeah,
retreat.
yeah, yeah.
So you guys did the primal scream. People
Yes.
can refer to my episode on the primal scream.
Yes, watch that.
You guys did the primal scream. So tell me about that experience.
I would love to hear your perspective because it was from my perspective, it was one of those things where like Leah had done all this planning for the whole retreat and it was amazing. Like she had everything down very detailed.
Right,
And I
right,
was like, I'm not planning anything. I'm just going to go with whatever the heart flows. And so it was a very good blend of like having structure and then taking the event wherever it went.
right.
And Leah led this very heart-centered hypnosis where people were bringing up stuff from their childhood. And
Hmm.
after that, we did a group heart coherence, and I was observing, like the field told me that we needed to have a release, that there was a lot of stuff that was moving around, and we needed to have a release.
Right.
And so I basically said, let's go do a primal scream. And what do you think happened? Because I'm just curious. It was crazy. It was
It
crazy,
was
and it was
crazy.
like it was a little, ballsy, I'd say, to just be like, we had mostly women. So it
Right.
was 15 women and one man. And I was like, we're going in the field and we're screaming. And what did you think
Yeah.
happened?
Well, I think, it's very interesting to me. I always think sometimes I'm surprised by what people don't want to do. And I always find it interesting as a related topic. People are afraid oftentimes to tell you their dreams. People will
Exactly.
mean,
Yeah.
but I've done an exercise where I say, imagine yourself in the future in 6 months. What's your perfect life? And
Mm,
especially women, I find are like they can't do it. I
Mhm.
think the primal scream is the scary thing is it's total loss of control. And that's everybody's greatest fear. But again, I think especially even
Yeah.
for women, which we mostly had, but I think everybody is afraid of losing control. And so it ended up being, as Kyle said, we had done some pretty deep inner child and childhood work. And it was surprising, not surprising that there was some people and as we said, we really became a family through this
Hmm.
heart energy. And so there was a few different people I know who were struggling and they just happened to pair off with somebody that was like, I'm going to stand with you as you do this. And
Hmm.
it was probably one of their harder moments. And they came back it's it's the release, but again, I think it's that loss of control and you can feel it. It almost feels like it's going back lifetimes. It almost feels like
Yeah.
you are screaming out whatever is in your life, your family's life, your DNA.
Yeah.
You tap into the energy of all the pain of all the worlds of everything.
Yeah.
Intense, bro. It's a crazy experience when you just start hearing like the echoing of screams.
Right.
And we were, like I was saying to you before, Brian, we were walking out, and I just remember one lady, she like had a panic. She was like, "Oh my God, like somebody help me." And because we were all doing it together, the lady next to her was like, "You got this." And she anchored her in. And when we were in our closing circle, she said that was the most important like moment of like, honestly, she was talking about like her life. Like she was saying that this was something that she had been holding in from childhood that
Right.
needed to be released. And we had 15 people there, and I think 4 or 5 of them mentioned in our closing circle how important that primal scream
Yeah.
was.
The studies show that people are doing the primal scream are experiencing instantaneous kundalini. Suddenly just all their chakras are opening up. It's the
Yeah.
complete release. If you think about it, we're walking around in these shells
Yeah.
constantly in our house where we can only speak up to a certain level and we
Mhm.
can never fully release. So there's this pent up energy that everybody naturally has. So I've had like clients and I'm coaching, I'm like, when you get in your car and you feel safe, because I don't want you doing it like when you're in your apartment, but when you feel safe, I just want you to scream as loud as you can for as long as you can. And they come
Yeah.
back to me. I shared with you when I was teaching public speaking, and
Yeah.
that's like the number one fear that people have is getting up and speaking to a group. So I would see people that were just horrified when they were going to have to get up and speak. So I would have them come out. We would do the primal scream in at the University of Wyoming out in the open field. We'd get some looks. But then I would see these people who were so scared, just standing up, super confident, speaking after that. They had released those fears in that moment. It's
Yeah.
visceral. It's
Mhm.
powerful. You know what I mean? So we're gonna definitely do that at the first retreat. We'll see it. We'll try to get permission to do that at
Can
the
we scream
second
in the
one
hotel is the
at the hotel.
question.
Our plan is to do that. So we're going to integrate that because we need to have a mechanism for release in the
Yes.
process of breakthrough, and that'll be integrated into whatever we're going to do. Right.
Yeah.
But
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no, one other thing that just on that topic of flow, like because I think what we're talking about is how we're just experimenting with group energy and the things that are really powerful. One
Yeah.
of the things that we learned recently that was very powerful during the retreat that we're planning to bring to your experience is
Hmm.
some
Humming.
some reason when we do group humming, it
Yes.
there's like some sort of hypnosis that happens. It's almost like a beehive is being created, and everyone
100%.
in this divine buzz. And
Yes.
we started doing heart coherence plus the primal screaming plus the humming, but I feel like humming really anchors group humming anchors people into a higher consciousness.
Yes. It's another process of synchronization and creating the group coherence.
Yeah,
So, that's why you and I are so passionate about starting these retreats.
yeah,
You and I made a commitment to not only do these retreats, but we plan on doing retreats all over the world. And it's my goal. I want to sit in a room with every single person that is watching this episode now, and that includes you. I want to meet you, and I want to share in your electromagnetic field. And so that's my mission right now. We get people come to Ireland, come to Canada, come to Australia. Hell yeah, we plan on doing it. But we need your support. So if you can come to the one in LA, that's the beginning. This is my first true live in-person event. The retreat's the first retreat, but this is our first true live in-person. What's fascinating is I have had so many people ask me to do it over the years. Like, why aren't you doing a live retreat? Why aren't you doing a live event? Why aren't you doing it? Because all my clients and a lot of my audience are people that are super into Dr. Joe Dispenza. In fact, that's how you got started in heart coherence. You had an experience with a Joe Dispenza meditation. That's why his events are so significantly powerful. He's working directly with the Heart Math Institute. There was Dr. Joe, and then when Dr. Joe started working with Heart Math, that's when he exploded, right? So I want to find a way to facilitate this as best we can. And my dream is I want to do this like the Sphere in LA, in Vegas. I want to do this like with an entire stadium of people. Imagine a stadium of people doing the primal scream and going into coherence because I see like we're in a timeline shift. Maybe I can get your opinion on this. And it's not what you think. I think that people say, "Oh, we have good versus evil." We have those people that are coming together, and we have those people that are separating and withdrawing and staying away. And this is creating a sort of divide in the river, and that there's a point where the rivers won't intersect anymore. And I know there are people out there, especially after COVID, that are afraid to interact, to go out in public, to do these things. They feel safe. They feel I'd rather just sit at home. It's easier. But if you have the ability, even if there's a meditation group that you have, or there's a prayer group with your church, I'm telling you, please go and participate in, make an effort. When I teach a lot about the law of one, and that's, I think, what they were talking about in the social memory complex. The real shift in the planet is we become this one being. And the only way we can do that and facilitate that is coming together on a physical one-on-one level. So I can see you, I can share your space, hear your voice, and the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, we can talk about all these lofty, spiritual, and weird concepts.
Yeah.
I am always probably more interested in the human experience, in the
Mhm.
physiological. And I'll just say that, you can't really transcend what you are as a human. And we need people, we need oxytocin, we need bonding. And I think all the amazing programming we had for our retreat and all of that, I think the real thing is that people are connected in a way that they haven't felt for a really long
Yes.
time. And
Yes.
at the event that we're doing together,
Hmm.
people are going to leave with a tribe. And people are so alone right now. The
Hmm.
most common answer when Americans are asked, how many people do you have that you could really call on in a crisis? The most common answer is zero,
Right. Which is
which
which
is
blows me away.
staggering.
We come from a time when there was no phones, right? We come from a time when desktop computers were just kind of a new fresh thing, right? I mean, maybe me more than you, right? But and so I remember Friday night, we're going to get together with my friends. We're going to barbecue, we're going to hang out. This is not happening. My
No.
son, who is, he's amazing and has all of his friends are online. He's sitting on Discord playing the guitar with his friend in Washington or whatever, and that's great. But at the same time, he has no incentive to go out and actually physically meet people. And you hear about the Gen Z gays. You've heard about that, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
It's a real phenomenon. Like
This
people,
is a real
they can't
phenomenon.
make eye contact with each other, right? And
No.
I'm not shaming anybody for that. I understand. During COVID, I enjoyed staying at home. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being able to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we can't make it. It's the COVID, right? I'm
I made
sorry."
you sick. I call that like just the
Right?
COVID excuse. You were like, oh, I may have a fever.
Right.
Still
So
like going.
another thing that I've noticed is, this is through history. There have been groups that knew this. You have
Mhm.
mystery schools, you have secret societies. They knew they would come together as a group. Why were those secret societies so powerful? They would have initiations, and they would
Mhm.
have these secret initiations where they came together, right? Yeah, it
Yeah.
might not have been good or bad, but they came together because they knew the group energy was the final factor that moved people forward on whatever they were doing. So you had these gatherings in Egypt, you had these gatherings, and in some ways it's been unfortunately completely manipulated. You have
Mhm.
these large churches that are, misleading people in some cases, or they utilize the group energy in sort of a negative way, right? And so then I get that people watch that and they don't trust. Like these people are trying to manipulate me. You know what I mean? One thing that always bothered me, I'd go to these events. I'm a junkie for going to these events. I've been to so many. In fact, I realized after going to an Aaron Doty event that I couldn't ask questions because as soon as people would hear my voice, they're like, "What? Oh, that's Brian Scott." You know what I mean? So I go to the event with my hat and just kind of because I wanted to experience but I would just kind of hide so nobody would know. It always bothered me at the end of these events that the whole thing felt like they were selling me something. At the end, it's like, I got this big $10,000 program. You got to join. And if you
Yes.
don't do it, then it's never going to work. And I promise you, that's not what our intention here is. We
No.
don't have this overriding intention to sell you something else.
Mm-mm.
We have the pure divine intention to help you achieve your dreams, and we want to give you the technologies to do that. And we're working every day to make this the most amazing event. And every time we do it, we're going to get better. We're going to do
Yeah.
this one in September. So when we go into the in November, the people that are be able to attend that event, I think, are going to experience the most amazing shifts. I've had these quantum jumps where I've had people experience the most amazing reality shifts where everything in their world changed. They suddenly have the most amazing experiences. Um, People are finding that, for instance, I have a client I was working with that signed a record contract out of the blue. This is a person that was just fixing guitars, had not really done that much music, but had a dream to do music. Next thing you know, he's created an album, he's signing a deal, and he is, traveling the world right now. I have people that have found investments that suddenly make them millions of dollars within a couple of months. I've had people that suddenly heal from terminal cancer, and so that's what is amazing about these shifts is I'm aligning them with an energetic signature from their future self so that they walk away with this sort of identity shift where the person they were when they walk in is different. And those meditations work great, but when it happens in a group, the
Mhm.
energies that you're accessing seem to be more, there's more infinite possibility available, and the energy is magnified. So people are going to walk away from this, and it's not like you're sitting and doing a meditation on YouTube sitting at home. It's it's a container that's sort of a rocket ship, right? And
Yeah.
when people enter this rocket ship, we're traveling together into another location in the multiverse where everybody's dreams are coming true. And I know that sounds like I'm promising too much, but it's true. It's absolutely the most amazing thing. Once I realized how powerful these shifting techniques were, it changed my life and the way I did my coaching, and it's so amazing. So I know that people are struggling out there, and I want them to experience this, but then to be able to do it in a group, utilizing heart coherence, creating group coherence. It was the final key that I needed in
Mm.
order to fully shift people into the realities that they want, because people struggle when they're doing it alone. When I see you shifting,
Yeah.
when we're sharing a space, when we're sharing a space with others, that the having the witness there
Yeah.
is also a part of it, right? That's at
Yeah.
least what I've experienced.
Yeah, one of the most beautiful parts of our retreat was, and I heard many people say this, we'd come together every day and we would do the heart coherence
Right.
and we'd get in harmony. And then, like I was saying, you get like overwhelmed with this beautiful energy. And then we just started saying to each other, the new earth is here now. And we were just anchoring ourselves in that energy.
Yeah.
But it's like you actually really knew it was here now, like in that moment, like you knew you were in the new earth frequency. and
Yes.
and from that point forward, like we've been hearing everybody have so many massive shifts since they've got home, myself included. I jumped into a whole new world since our retreat that's
I
like
know.
my dream life. And it's
Okay.
pretty
Share what
pretty
happened.
yeah.
Tell everybody what happened. This is
Yeah.
crazy.
So basically, a week before our retreat, I was down in Situate where I live at this fair, and I was walking, and this lady walked up to me and she said, "You're Kyle Boyd. You have the Heart Coherence Collaborative." And I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "Do you do retreats?" And I said, "We're doing our first retreat this weekend." And she said, "Well, you come check out my house. I have this beautiful house, and I'd love for you to do your next retreat there." So I drove over to her house. Her house is absolutely beautiful. It's a $5 million mansion. It
Wow.
has deprivation tank, like infrared sauna. It has a salt cave in the basement. It has like endless healing toys. And so we do our retreat, and basically our retreat goes amazing. And I call her up, and she's like, "Come meet me." And not only does she want me to host our next retreat there, she asked me to live there. So we now get to live in this mansion for free, not
Right.
$8 that we have to pay. And we get to live in this healing center and have it's going to be the home base of the Heart Coherence Collaborative now. I
Right.
don't, how is that possible? It's, you
Yeah,
know,
so we're
but
going to definitely be doing a retreat there at some point. That's going to be is putting down on the list, so that the people can share that space. But
yeah.
those are the kind of things that are happening. And so what I'm excited about is integrating what I have developed these techniques for shifting into utilizing the future self. As I mentioned to you in the last interview we had, I had these experience where I would get people energetically aligned with their ultimate timeline, the timeline where everything they ever wanted comes true over a long period of time. They lived, imagine living the best life you could ever live, right?
Yeah.
And I would get them into the quantum field and I would get them to see and really feel and experience this timeline. It
Mm,
was more than just a visualization, sort of a memory. And then they would reach and connect with their future self at the end of that life,
mm,
and that future self would start downloading information into them
right.
and then would eventually walk into their body like a walk-in, right? And
Wow.
so then people are waking up and they're completely a new person. They sleep differently, they eat differently. Suddenly they have a different taste in even music. They have new friendships, they have urges to take on new activities. They're exercising differently. Suddenly they have, oh, well, I want to do this. People are they're awakening this sort of magnified inner intelligence because we can access any future self. That's what I believe, and that's what I want to show people is that you can actually see alternate timelines
Mm,
and that you can access different versions of yourself. And
yeah.
so we're gonna. What I am excited about is doing the Maniforce power technique in a group, which is a breathing technique where you create these balls of mana, you pull them in, and you empower your higher self. And
Mm,
so it's a Kahuna technique that was taught in the book Maniforce Power by Madeline Morris. And so I've been integrating that into the quantum jump. So I'm really excited so that we can empower versions of ourselves on the timeline and then gain knowledge and information from future selves. And I found out the only way after I did the shift, the only way they could access the intelligence of this future self was when they were in coherence.
yeah.
That was the amazing revelation is they would have the shift, but then I would want them to communicate with the future self within them. I wanted them to become aware that they could close their eyes and access the intelligence of this future self. So I
Mm,
have day traders that have done this, and they'll get ready to invest in stocks that day. They'll access the future self, and suddenly or they'll invest in stock or futures, whatever kind of day trading they're doing. And the people that are coming to me, they're making thousands of dollars a day, a huge ramp up. It's like they know what's going to happen with the market, right? So what I'm saying is it seems like some sort of divine intervention that has brought you and me together to combine these things, which sounds complicated, right?
yeah.
But it is. But to combine the revelation of heart coherence at the same time as understanding the how to shift within the quantum realm. And
Mm,
so this technology, I try to envision how it's going to change the world, right? Can you imagine when people truly understand that they can access different versions of themselves? They can assimilate skills. You guys know about my art. I
yeah.
Mhm.
utilize this technique. I was no artist. I didn't go to any art school. Suddenly, I have an identity of this amazing artist that enters into me, and suddenly I'm doing art, right? So people I have somebody that wanted to actually learn about IT. You know, they were in a six month course. We did this, and I had them assimilate with a version of them that knew IT, and suddenly they had all the knowledge that they needed, right? Something like that's technical, right? Can you
Mm.
imagine the world when we are able to go into coherence and enter different alternate states and different versions of ourselves? I know I said a lot there, but I want to get your vibe on what this means.
Well, yeah, I mean, what it means for me is that just like I was telling you this, Brian, and you know this to be true, but any of my friends in the world, when they reach out to me and say, "Hey, I want to do a transformational meditation," I say you need to check out Brian Scott's stuff. Like all his stuff has helped all of my friends transform into different timelines, whether it be abundance, a new relationship, all these different things. But bringing that in the group energy with that energy of the heart. is something that I'm so excited for people to experience because I know my manifestation, my transformation just gets accelerated exponentially when I'm in the group energy. And I can't wait to bring all that you've created into the real world with other people.
Yes.
I know that the transformations that are going to happen are going to be like unlike anything we've ever seen before. I know that. I know
Yeah.
that to be true because of the science. And when you break it down to like the quantum science, the Joe Dispenza stuff, he talks about how the elevated emotion, how high you elevate your emotion,
Mhm.
is how much your energy influences other energy to materialize.
Right.
And we come together in these groups, we vibrate. I mean, I know this to be true. We're going to be vibrating higher than like I've ever vibrated on my own because when we get together, it just lifts
Yeah.
us to another level. And as a result, everything materializes at another speed.
Yeah. We're going to do exercises like people interacting as their future self, talking to each other in the group, going around and meeting each other, embodying it completely. And I'm excited about that. I want people are going to meet other people that are aligned with this purpose. You're going to find allies, friends that are going to be there for you. Long-term, lifelong friendships can be formed in these coherent states where you can access these different versions. It's going to be amazing to do, right?
Yeah. I think you just jumped into a new timeline where you wear white shirts now. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, yes, I'm wearing a white shirt. It's true. It's true. It's true. I told you the secret
I know. I
before
won't
why
share.
I'm wearing a white
I
shirt, and
won't
nobody
share.
gets to know why I only wear black shirts. That secret is
It's
only
a secret
between
safe
us.
from me,
Yes, it's
brother.
a safe.
Yeah.
But you are
So,
sending the energy out. And this is, I do think the difference, because a lot of people I feel are stuck with things and they've been doing techniques and they've been doing a bunch of stuff. I do think the heart energy is the difference. And it's really going to make that extra difference with people who they've been doing things and that's what's missing. I do think that heart energy is what's missing to take you to the next level of your life. Because sometimes even you think you want to manifest certain things and you've got a whole, I know at a certain point, I faced this where I was writing down a bunch of stuff that was, it's like, wait, was that really my dream? Was that just like other stuff that people told me I wanted?
mhm.
And you don't even really know what you want unless you tap into the energy of your heart.
That's true. It's true. And there's more to it. I mean, in reality transurfing, which is what I was really focused on when I started my channel, which is sort of a methodology regarding trans shifting into different realities. The big focus is the mind heart coherence. They talk about aligning the mind and the heart. There's an intelligence with the mind, but when it's alone, doesn't have that much power. And the heart alone, it
Mm,
doesn't have that much power. But when the mind and heart come together,
mm.
it is like a laser beam. It really is a wide light and a focused light. When they come together, that's what I'm finding is the key element. It empowers it. We're also going to be doing some qigong, which
Yeah,
I asked because it's harder for me to do because of my shoulder, and so I gave Kyle some stuff that we're going to do, and he's been working on it. I'm excited about that, which is
absolutely.
an energetic technique that we utilize with our shifting meditations. And so I'm excited to integrate that. So, people, if they're wanting more information, it's at www.brianscottlive.com/event-November. And the hotel is amazing. It's over 3 days, so I really think 3 days is one of the keys. We're going to do some longer term events here in the future, but that's all it took. Jesus was 3 days. 3 days is all it took, right? And over 3 days, we plan on the first day, you're going to meet with your higher self. You're going to get tuned into that optimal timeline, and we're going to do a quantum jump. And on the second day, we're going to connect with the future self. And then I'm going to teach you how to integrate with the future self. Once you have this sort of intelligence within you, how to access the memories of the future self and communicate with the future self. People along the way we're going to have good breaks where people can assimilate these meditations. And then we're on the third day, we're going to really amplify the group aspect of this, taking it to the next level and finalizing and integrating so that there is a permanent change. What I have found in going to a lot of retreats is it's really exciting. It's a big, huge energy shift. And then you go home and everything goes right back to normal. So,
Yeah.
what we want to do is create a situation so that when they leave, the shift is maintained and they've integrated these teachings so that it's a lifelong change. People are going to look back on an event like this and they're going to say, everything changed after I went to that event. It seemed like it was never the same. My whole life changed. The way I am changed. That is to be able to facilitate that, to be a part of that is what is so exciting. And as I've said to you before, I'm nothing more than a bus driver in the multiverse. I want you to get along. I'm going to take you where you want to go, and I'll be like, just get out right here. That's where your dream home is. You can get out right here, and this is where your dream job is. You can get out right here, and you can retire with all the money. Um, Another aspect of this integrated into these teachings because I've been teaching a lot about money and manifesting money, and that's something that's been the focus of my channel for a little while. People ask, why are you doing that? Because that's the sort of crux that I found that people come to when they're struggling with manifesting and going through these shifts is they're stuck in that 3D mindset where they just don't have enough money, they haven't got enough money. And so once they access the intelligence of the future self, and it becomes very natural. They're walking around, there's no desperation. They have this inner knowing because they've already lived it. They know everything's going to work out for them. They know where to invest their money. When they spend money, it's joyous. That's the experience that I've been able to see in these shifts. And so it's right before Thanksgiving. So before you go on your Thanksgiving break, November 21st through the 23rd at the LA Airport Hilton. Um, and you guys are going to be there. We're going to do heart coherence and so much more. Is there any other aspects of this that you want to share that I missed? Because I just want to get the word out so that people know about this. We're new to promoting this, and we I know that people are like, oh, they're just promoting their event. No, no, this is also a discussion of the power of group coherence and trying to teach you that it's not just going to my event. You can go to your prayer group. You can go to the meditation group in the park. You can just meet your friends and meditate together. I'm trying to get the word out that the next step is working with other people in physical proximity and meditating together. And if you have experts that can guide you through the process in an aligned state, a bunch of people, it becomes more intense, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I would just say again that you can't really explain it. It's something you have to feel. But everybody that's been in the group meditations walks away feeling something that is life changing. And I want to just thank the universe for bringing our paths together. It's
Yeah.
been so much fun to play with you and just co-create and all
Yeah.
these things. And I'm really excited for this creation to come together.
This is
We've
going to
been
be
meeting
amazing.
virtually and it's been amazing. But to be doing this in person, to bring the power of the heart and your brilliant mind and Leah together, I can't wait to just be a part of this.
Do you have a favorite event that you've been to? Uh,
Mine, yeah, mine. The one that
Other
we
than yours,
other than mine, I've been done everything virtually, honestly. It's just
right?
yeah, everything is virtual since I came into my spiritual
Tony Robbins was pretty amazing when I saw
yeah,
Tony
Tony's
Robbins.
stuff is great.
Right.
Tony's stuff is great.
I
Yep.
gotta right by.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I saw Tony Robbins, that's when I started getting into neurolinguistic programming and studying like how
Mhm.
he was able to do that. Joe Dispenza is amazing. When I saw Abraham, Esther Hicks Abraham, watching her channeling in person, and it was
Oh,
like this
you've
sort of
seen that in person?
I've seen it in person.
Mhm.
I could see a cloud above her. It was like this that was coming through her. I knew in that moment, if you have any question about what was going on, very powerful was going on when I witnessed her in
Wow.
person. I'm sure that people have other stories. I've heard people, TL Swan has some amazing events. I love to hear. I went to Aaron Doty's Shift Experience in Los Angeles as well. That was really a magical event. That like you, I've done a lot of virtual ones, but there's something special about, getting up out of bed, going to the place and sharing a visceral person experience in person,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite event ever is Christmas at my grandparents' house.
Yeah, right, right.
Right?
That's what made me think
So
of just like doing
that's my
jujitsu every
answer.
day in a group, like the small things of just being together in a group
Yeah,
are my,
exactly.
you know.
When you go back and look at the favorite times in your life, a lot of times
Yeah,
those are group events. For
absolutely.
football games I've been to,
Yeah, right.
with my friends, right? Like parties that I've been to with my friends, Christmas, so many Christmases, I remember them all, right? But
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
gotten into this habit of not of sitting in our homes on
Mm.
our phones and not escaping from this. And we've been allowed to think that it's normal, that it's
Yeah.
comfortable, and it's okay for us to break out of that shell and reach out and talk with other people. It's okay. I
It's
want people to
yeah.
come back to that. If you're out there and you don't want to do that, I want you to give it a try. Break out of your protective shell and give this a chance. Give this an opportunity, right?
Yeah. The
Absolutely.
new earth is here.
The human being, it's not run on dopamine. It is run more on serotonin and oxytocin. And
Yes.
things can feel good but not be good. And it is
Yes.
truly good to be with not only just humans, but this is going to be a group of humans who are your people. They're your kind of weirdos.
Yeah.
you know?
There will be
Exactly.
karaoke.
And there will
What's that?
be
There will be
karaoke.
karaoke,
There's
right?
gotta be.
Yes, on Saturday night, just like we've done with the Reality Con,
Yeah.
we share a karaoke experience, but it's not like where one person's getting up and singing. Everybody is singing along and we're
Yes.
dancing and celebrating. And I can't wait to do it in person because we've done it on Zoom and it was like
Yes.
really exciting to do on Zoom, right? And so, yes, if people want to sing, it might be a great opportunity to hear other people get up and sing, but it's going
Yeah.
to be a celebration because that's the vibration that we're moving towards. That's why on Saturday that karaoke is so important. It's not about the karaoke. It's about that feeling of letting go and
Fellowship.
celebrating.
Yeah, right. Let's go.
So silly. Sometimes those are the best moments of the whole thing.
Right. And so
Like
we have to
sing
add that in every
love
time
part.
we do these events, there'll be some kind of celebration. There will be dancing. All
There
right.
will be dancing.
Yeah.
Come.
And so, everybody, I want to see you once again. And I know I've said it several times, but it's www.brianscottlive.com/event November. You'll find the link in the description. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to Kyle and Leah Kyle and Leah at the Heart Coherence Collaborative.com. And you can also reach out to me at chiefexecutiveprime@gmail.com. And if you want us to hold an event, if there's somewhere in the world that you feel like, hey, this would be a great place, if you are connected to somebody that would be a great place for us to hold an event, then reach out to either of us because we have big plans. Everybody that's putting plans, we're putting you on a list. We've created a list. We want to go to Hawaii. We're going to go to Mexico. We're going to go to Canada. We're going to go to New York. We're going to go to Texas. We're going to go everywhere because we want to meet you and we want to have these experiences. That's what we're doing now, and I want to continue taking my teachings to the next level. And this is the next level of these teachings. So I just want to thank you so much for the support in helping me putting on this event. There would be no way that I could do this event without your inspiration and pushing me to do it, Kyle. Kyle came to me and then when we talked this through, I would not have done it. I've been sitting in my office. So I want to thank you. You both are angels. You've always been that. Thank you for being there for me to support me and take me to this next level. And also, I want everybody to check out your events. You can find more information at the Heart Coherence Collaborative. You can on the YouTube channel. There'll be announcements there. Sign up on your email list. I'll have a link there. And just share with us if you guys out there want us to do an event.
Yeah.
If there is a location that you think's great, we will do it.
Yeah.
Just let us know, set it up. If we can get enough people, we're going to do it, and that's the way it's going to be for a while now. We're going to take over the world, right, brother?
Yeah. Yeah. Please comment below and let us know all the places. It'll be fun to see where everyone
Yeah,
wants to
we're
go and
we're,
we'll
we're
pick
putting them
lists.
down on a list. It's going to happen. So
Let's go.
Real humans coming together in a
it's gonna
real
we are going to come together. We are the new earth. It's time for us to step forward and create these connections, connect to the world, and it doesn't matter what's happening in the outside world.
That's right.
Who cares what's happening on the news? It's easy to lose hope. It's easy because if it bleeds, it leads. If you start watching the news right now, you think everything's going to hell. It's not.
Wow.
We are what's happening to the world. We're going to change it. We're coming together. What we do is more important than anything else that you're hearing because we're one person at a time, one event at a time. We're the new earth. We're shifting it now. And I can't wait to meet you and see you and experience your shift with you to help facilitate it. Because at the same time that you're shifting, you're helping me to shift because we're all one. We're one being. And I can't wait to be a part of it. I can't wait to hear your stories. And so, welcome again, as always, to the Reality Revolution. Welcome to the Reality Revolution. It is always good to talk to everyone who is listening right now. All those people that have supported the Reality Revolution. I cannot tell you how much you have changed my life. And I've been working on different programs to utilize through my channel. If you've been following, I have released a lot of activations and guided meditations around a number of different concepts, in particular, shifting through timelines. The skills available to you, all the awareness. I'm giving you a map. I'm just basically a bus driver taking you through the multiverse to that place that you want to be. The one where every of your dreams comes true, where you find your greatest love. You live for as long as you want. You explore the world, you travel the world. Boundless prosperity that is available to all of us that do this process, that work together. This is the beginning of the shift. It's happening. I've seen it and I want to share it with you. I cannot wait for you to join me on November 21st through the 23rd at the Los Angeles Airport Hilton. You can purchase tickets at the link below, and also we have discounts for rooms that are available. A link will be provided where you can get discounts at that same Hilton. I hope to see you there. I cannot wait to meet you. I cannot wait to share this experience with you. So many of you have commented and emailed me, and I've had a chance to coach on Zoom that I would love to meet, and this is an amazing opportunity. You will walk away from this completely changed.
We return you now to your local announcers.